loud, every second counts. Sailstorms coming, pressure mounts. Stocks too low, staff too green. You're stuck in the chaos, caught in between. Doorbusters hit, traffic explodes. One mistake and the system overload. Brake Turner steps in, voice so clear. Get your plan right now or the cost is near. You can't guess your way through the fight. You need a strategy built to get it right. Black Friday's coming. Are you ready to lead? Retail mastery gives you what you need. From the sales floor rush to the midnight strain, we help you win while others feel the pain. No more chaos, no more loss. We prep like warriors, no matter the cost. Black Friday's coming, don't stand still. Retail mastery trains you to kill the chill. Who's counting stock? Who's holding the line? Is your staff prep or wasting time? Are the promos live? Are the bundles tight? Can your system hold when the cards ignite? Don't freeze up when the volume surges. Greg's got tools that crush those urges. Checklist tight, rules locked in. This is how retail champions win. Test your sight, train your crew, know your price, know what to do. Black Friday's not a game, it's war. Prepare today or be no more. Black Friday's coming. Are you ready to lead? Retail mastery gives you what you need. From the sales floor rush to the midnight strain, we help you win while others feel the pain.
I love it.
Good stuff.
There you go.
Wow. What else do you say? Wow. That was pretty impressive.
I'm speechless.
Yeah. How long
More
did that
reasons
take you,
for one.
Joel?
You moron. Hey, what's up?
How long did that take you?
I literally did it 10 minutes before we started.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's so cool. That's why we always end up talking AI. You know,
I know.
what people produce so quickly.
We always do. But I would like to start today. Today is what, Greg?
Today is September 17th, Joel. Oh man, how do you put me on the spot like that?
Today is Constitution Day, everyone. So I say happy Constitution Day. This was issued to me in boot camp. It's been with me for 27 years. And it's not as dog-eared as it should be, but this thing is precious to me. And it's what gives meaning to the thing that we always get offended when people burn, right? So people talk about, you can't burn that piece of cloth. And I've always said, it's just a freaking piece of cloth, man. This is what it represents. This is what we need to be like waving. You know what I mean? So I would encourage everyone out there, if you have a shop, have you a place where you're giving away constitutions. There's probably places you can get free constitutions. You know, we do live in a constitutional republic for now. Please push our form of life on everyone that walks in your shop. It's very, very important. It's if we haven't seen that by now, I hope it's becoming clearer. We are a constitutional republic, and I love the red, white, and blue. I love the stars, but more than anything else, in regards to my earthly things, I love this document because it's the most brilliant document probably man has ever written, not biblically or anything like that, but it's very important. It's given us so much. And again, guys, it's very important. This stuff is life or death. So push it and celebrate it. Happy Constitution Day.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done
No,
with
it's not.
my rant.
All right. Great webinar, everyone. No.
Nice to see you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
No, you're right, Joel. And I'll tell you where my bad capitalist mind went. You said the correct thing of have these in your shop and give them away. I immediately in Black Friday mode are like, have these in your shop next to the
Ding,
register
ding,
where
ding,
you can
ding,
sell them. You know. So.
Yeah, there are people like the Gideons that give out Bibles. There are people that do the same thing with the Constitution. So just find one of those organizations, and you'll get you a little. I got one right here. This may be one of the organizations that does it. But yeah, they're just you find these everywhere, man. So just I think we need to put these in hotel rooms as well.
That's a great idea.
Right there next to the Gideon Bible. But anyway, not to get too political, today we're going to talk about Black Friday. And this is something that, guys, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be here before you know it. Greg, you've been in retail for decades, right?
Yep.
How many Black Fridays snuck up on you and you're like, oh my gosh, I am woefully unprepared, even though you may have put a lot of effort into preparing?
Oh yeah, it happens way more than I wish it did, Joel. And that's why I'm excited to talk about this today. Truth is, we probably should have talked about it a month or two ago. But if you haven't started yet, now is the day to start. If you have started, there's still plenty of time to make some adjustments, do some add-ons. So I'm really excited about the topic today because it is such a huge opportunity for your business. There's so much good you can do in such a short amount of time. And, you know, we all know where the industry stands and what's going on. This is a huge opportunity to move some of that product that we want to move, to increase some revenue, to help cash flow. There's a lot of opportunities. So we just need to make sure we're all prepared to take advantage of it. And this is the exciting times. This is why we deal with the bad part of summer. You know, this is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So I'm really, really excited.
Right. So before we start, I would like for you to tell me of two instances. One, the highest, most successful Black Friday that you've ever experienced in retail. And then I want you to tell me like the lowest, like what happened. Was there something that you missed, or was there just something that happened that kind of put a damper on it? Like, I want you to give me the highest and lowest of your experience in regards to Black Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, big box retail, I spent a lot of time with big box. You know, we had some Black Fridays in the millions of dollars, even pushing, you know, over $5 million. And that's a wild day. I mean, that is where you get into talk about not being prepared. The entire store can be prepared in those instances, but you get down to departments where you have one department not prepared, and it throws everything off.
Right.
You know, but to talk about busyness, oh man, doorbusters. They've stopped doing them like they used to do them, where the old days where they'd have something absolutely crazy and there was no, you know, staggered release or anything like that. Everybody for every deal in the doors at 6 a.m. and you just sit back there and you just try to survive when you're working. Now, those happen. A few of those happen that were very, very successful. The worst case scenario I've had is in a smaller retailer. We had an advertisement out for a product that, guess what? It was supposed to arrive on Wednesday, and we all know shipping times as we get closer and closer. It did not arrive on Wednesday. That was our biggest driver. We were anticipating having hundreds in stock and get tens in stock. So that went really, really south. And additionally, one year everybody got the flu at a different place. So, yeah, I mean, it's like
Mother Nature had to get in her little jab too, didn't she?
Absolutely. We were, you know, prepared, had 40 people on the schedule, and we had 13 show up one year.
Wow.
So
I'm sure everybody was sick too.
Yeah, exactly. After people heard 20 were gone, I think those last 7 were like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that.
Right.
So
are you going to arm the people out there with some great ideas in regards to what they can do to begin preparing at least for Black Friday? And some people may think, or some people may say that if you're not already ready, you're behind. Would you say that, or are you saying?
I would say that. I would say you're behind, but guess what? You're not that far behind. The race just started. You've got plenty of time to catch up and overtake anybody. So
awesome.
Absolutely. We still have plenty of time. And you know, when you really talk about Black Friday and this presentation, I think it goes into three different parts, right? You've got your preparation. How are we going to prepare? What are we going to do now? But then almost as important is your execution on day of. And I know it sounds silly, but people forget about that. This is an anomaly. We don't have days like this, generally speaking. So all of our normal processes may or may not work. So you really need to spend some time identifying what are those processes, where I guess we get back into prep. But on day of, everybody has a plan and everybody is executing. There should be no internal questions on Black Friday. Everybody's got a job. Everybody executes their job. And you have a really well written and thought out plan. And then the last thing is post sale. That's the other part here. And we'll talk more about this as we get into execution. But you have a massive opportunity to pick up new customers in your store. A lot of people, if you do the right kind of advertising, you're going to get people that have never set foot in your store, never been to your website, never done any of this. So collecting their information and you know, putting them into some sort of CRM cadence, having them in a campaign, talking to them, reaching back out to them will pay dividends down the line as well. So not only are we talking Black Friday, we want to stretch this out into all of Q4 and even ongoing customers in the future. So yeah, it's all three are as important as the other. It just depends on what time frame you're looking at.
Awesome.
Starting out in, oh, go ahead, Joel. I'm sorry.
No, what I wanted you to do really quickly, and I know you probably already did, but can you give us like an overview of what you will be covering exactly, so that our robot, because our robot really pays attention to what you say. Absolutely. I want the robot to be able to line this out for the people if they go question it. So
for sure.
Yeah, if you could just give us the high points of your outline, and then we can dive in.
Definitely. Yeah. So we'll be talking about inventory planning, promotion strategy, gift cards as strategic promotions. I'm excited to talk about that one. Marketing strategies, team and training, setting realistic goals, system and point of sale. So all that's going to be prep. Then from phase 2, day of execution, we're going to talk about floor management. We're going to talk about checkout efficiency, e-commerce execution, security and fraud prevention. Then phase 3 for post Black Friday, we're going to talk about that loyalty info that we captured, name, email, and phone, post sale momentum, and then analysis and optimization.
Nice.
So
all right,
let's
dive out. In. I'm all ears, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, we'll start out at inventory planning. So this is the part where, you know, if you haven't started yet, you might be a little behind, but there's still plenty of time to catch up. With inventory planning, the big thing on Black Friday is you need to have a plan with your inventory. So what are you trying to do? Are you trying to increase your top line sales? Are you trying to increase margin? Or are you trying to clear out space and get rid of some of that dead inventory? I would really look at all of your inventory and see any of that dead inventory that's sitting there. If it's been sitting in your books for a year, you know, 8-9 months, you've already paid for that inventory. That inventory's sitting back there just doing nothing. You need to turn those dollars into dollars that can work for you. So the first thing I'd be doing is I'd be looking at my aged inventory, figure out what can I push, what is, you know, you can't put things that aren't appealing to anyone. But what I've found in a lot of years of retail is if you've got it on your shelves, you've got it in your back room, it's appealing to someone at the right price. So that's kind of some of the work that you've got to do is just figure out what price could I sell this at to where people are going to be interested, but obviously it maximizes my value. However, really, I strongly encourage everybody to look at that aged inventory, get it out now. You know, the clearance sales in July, the clearance sales in August, you know, what that kind of pushes some things towards you, but you're going to get more eyeballs on this weekend than you're probably going to get, you know, other than maybe leading up to Christmas, you might get more cumulative eyeballs, but this is one of the times where good deals, people are receptive. Additionally, when inventory, look at last year's Black Friday. See what sold, see what didn't sell. Do an evaluation of what kind of specials you have. And if the special did work, great. See if you can repeat it this year or do a variant of it. If it wasn't successful, there may be a reason why too. And it may be pricing. It may be, you know, not a good product, whatever it may be. Flip side, the things that were successful, repeat, rinse and repeat. I mean, don't make things more complicated than they need to be. Making sure you've got those orders in place for what you're going to do. So let's say you're not moving out any clearance inventory. You just want to drive traffic. Now, loss leader is a term that you may hear in retail. And for those of you that don't know, loss leader is something that you advertise that you're going to take a loss on with the idea that you're going to bring people into the store to purchase other items. Now, a lot of big retailers have used loss leaders for years successfully. I'm a little different in my personal belief of loss leaders. Avoid taking a loss on things. You don't have to take a loss. Sell things at cost or just above cost, as slim of margins as you can get. The point there is make money on the buy. Everybody's got a lot of inventory right now. There's opportunities for some good buys that you can get. So be on the lookout for that. Let people know you're interested. Hey, what do you have for Black Friday? What are you trying to move? So you might be able to move some good things at some great prices where you're not taking a loss on each individual item that comes in. But I would encourage you to have 4 or 5 items that are just very, very, they're priced very, very well. They're going to move people. They're going to motivate people to get up off the couch. It's. I guess I'm trying to think of the right way to say this, Joel. You've got an opportunity too to get people in where you've got one spouse that loves to go out and shop. The other one doesn't want to come. However, if you've got that deal, you can work it into the rotation. And I've seen that happen where you have these people, husbands and wives that one's been in a bunch, the other one's never been in. And now you've got 4 eyeballs in your store and it really opens you up. So really encourage you to have, 3 to 5 drivers. I won't call them loss leaders. I'll call them drivers. And yeah, I kind of leaked into the promotions. With promotions, there's a few ways you can do it. You can do it straight. Oh, yeah.
I have a question about inventory. Before
yeah, please.
So, and this is just me being ignorant. I don't run a gun shop or gun store, and I'm not standing behind the counter. But it seems like common sense to me. Should retailers look at items that have done well all year and make that the thing, or does that not translate into a good Black Friday pull? You know what I'm saying? So like, oh, these people have loved this all year long, so we're going to do it for Black Friday. Or should it be something else that may have done well, but it didn't do well consistently, maybe because you didn't have a whole lot of inventory, if that makes sense?
Absolutely. That's certainly an option, Joel. I think the one thing you have to be careful of with that is to make sure you're not pulling sales forward at a lower margin. And what I mean by that is if something is selling consistently and it's doing very well, are you going to get additional eyeballs, or are you just going to get the people that were going to spend it, and buy it 2 months from now at full price, but now they're like, hey, I need to act today. Okay. So sometimes that is a very, very good strategy. I think it all just depends on the specific situation.
Right.
But yes,
the retailers will know the pulse of their own shops. But that's what I was kind of thinking. It's like these people know what you have and they're, buying it, whether it's 9mm ammo, because I know a lot of people maybe do ammo specials or anything like that. So don't give away anything that, people are going to sell or people are going to buy. Right.
And now with the ammo, it's a consumable. So I feel a little bit differently about that. Anything that's consumable, mark it down if you think it's going to drive traffic. If you can get it at a price where you're not losing money, that's going to be appealing to people, I would push that all day long.
Okay.
Now, if it's something that's not consumable, like, a firearm, that's where I'd take a little bit of a more deep dive look at it and say, hey, do I really need to mark this down? Is it going to drive increased traffic? Or, is something new? Sometimes, depending on what your email cadence is with your customers, typically what we end up doing is we advertise our best sellers. And it's one of those chicken or the egg situation. It's like, is it a bestseller because we're advertising it? Or are we advertising it because we know it moves people? So with those, what I found is sometimes getting a fresh item, something a little bit different, people get blind to your emails as they get the same stuff over and over. So it's really a cool opportunity to try some new products. Now, having said all of that, I'd start with your inventory first. There's no reason to take unnecessary risk on Black Friday. You want some sort of proven track record or something that you've done. Now, certainly some risks are going to happen, but you want to limit your exposure to those risks. Don't go out and buy $50,000 of a firearm that you've never sold in your store just because it's $10 under normal cost.
Right.
But you want to buy 5,000, you 10 units, sure, that may be worth it in your scenario. So just look at things. Take the time to plan, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
It's too easy to get caught up in our day-to-day and just not have a plan. I think if somebody spends 1 hour sitting down and just writing out a plan, you'll have it all. And then you just use that as your playbook, go back to it and execute it.
Well, don't start writing plans, guys, or you won't come back here for any information. So I'm just joking, but you are right. Just think it through. A lot of this stuff, a lot of our problems in our lives could be fixed the same way. We just kind of ignore things for so long that it's just, we never fix anything, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's November 10th and you've got nothing ready to go. And
right.
What are we doing next week?
Right. So just pay attention.
Yeah. And so from there, though, is promotions, which is part of this planning, right? And with promotions, we've all done our promotions. We know the different ways to do it. We've talked about you can do bundles. This is a great opportunity to do a bundle to expose, to spread out that margin hit across different items. Throw in high margin items into your bundle, mark them down, whether that's ear protection, eye protection, accessories, whether it's additional magazines, things like that to absorb some of that margin hit. A big one that I wanted to talk about today is gift cards, actually, though. So gift cards is something that's really interesting. If you give someone a gift card with a purchase, and there's a lot of ways you can give the gift card, but if you give a $20 gift card with, say, $100 purchase, and I'm not saying that is the deal, but just to keep the math easy and for examples, it's so much better than marking that item down to $80. With that $100, get the $20 gift card. Obviously, you're getting another visit potentially from the customer. They're coming back into your store. And it can even be $25 versus the $80. I mean, you get more freedom with the gift cards. And here's why. Breakage, gift card breakage is something that we should probably talk about on another call. But what gift card breakage is, depending on your state and your gift card laws, over time, what happens is 10 to 20% of gift cards do not get redeemed across retail.
That's right. Me.
Yeah,
That's
you probably
me.
got
I've still got gift cards from 15 years ago.
Exactly. We all do.
Yeah.
So what happens from a business sense is over some period of time, depending, what your accounting system is and what your state laws are, you can actually convert those balances that have not been redeemed into revenue. Now, that's all accounting stuff. We don't really care about that necessarily. But what it does for you on the front side is you're now getting that cash in hand. So you're getting operating cash, increases your cash flow, certainly helps your margins right now, and just really helps you with cash in the bank. So right. I'm a big proponent of using gift cards as a promotion, just with all those benefits, added visits, and, they're just not all going to get redeemed. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to be clear. I'm not big about making those gift cards go expired, even if state law allows it, after 7 years, after 5 years, depending on what state you're in. I think from an accounting perspective, you can certainly recognize that. However, just from a customer service and, good business perspective, I would advise always to honor your gift cards, even if it's 10 years old. So you don't deactivate necessarily the number. You just move the money in the books behind the scenes. So
I'm paying attention to you. I'm just writing down some questions that
you're good, man.
They're popping up and I'm going to ask them. So let me know before you leave promotions.
Okay.
I got a couple of questions.
I'm in a good place. Fire away.
So, in regard, since we just talked about the gift cards, what is a really good, because a lot of people, they may think I'm just selling a gift card, right? They may think, well, okay, well, I'll do a gift card with with the purchase of a gun or whatever. Can you give us some really outside the box ways that people can use gift cards as a promotion for Black Friday?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had some creative outside the box ways, but I think there's a reason we all know the ways. I mean, because they've been tried and true and tested over a lot of different years. I think a lot of times it's, buy X, you get Y. So whether that's a firearm, buy this firearm that's normally $550, get a $50 gift card. Yeah, one thing you could do if you have a range, you can always leverage your range usage and your range time. We all know that ranges are underutilized. So, one thing this just popped in my head, and I don't even know if it's a good idea. So let's see. But you could do some sort of like Monday through Thursday pass to the range that's good from 10 to 5. Whatever your downtimes are in your range where you're 90% empty anyway,
Right.
you give them, access to that during those times for free. Well, guess what? They're still going to come in, still going to buy ammo, still going to buy targets, still going to buy eye protection, still going to buy ear protection.
Mhm.
And then they get in the habit of coming in potentially. But, in most cases, let's be honest, the majority probably won't even use it. But the ones that do, you get the benefit. I mean, they're coming into your store
Right.
using things that don't really cost you anything other than the additional maintenance on the range, but that's negligible in those cases.
I think if you have a range and you're selling guns and you don't offer at least 2 or 3 day pass with the purchase of a gun, I think you are messing up, because obviously they need fuel for the gun, right? So you're going to be selling some ammo. They're gonna probably want to change their sights out when they see all the cool people come in and like, ooh, what is that? You know what I mean? Because your customers are your best salesmen if you think about it.
They absolutely are.
So yeah, I think if you're running a range, absolutely offer the gift cards. Yeah, that's what I was wanting to know, Greg, because I don't know like what in your experience, what really worked well together. What were people most excited about when they bought something and then they got the gift card, where you saw their eyes light up and it's like, oh, wow, a gift card too?
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is where you get the great deal on the buy, right? So let's say you've got a gun that generally costs you $400 and you're selling it for $450. That's kind of in line with where we'd normally be. Well, on that, let's say you got that gun now for $375. And, so you've got $25 additional margin. You can now say, all right, I'm going to give you a $50 gift card with this, bringing your total cost up to $425. You're still making $25 on it. They're getting $50 with a big purchase that needs accessories, right? Anytime you buy a gun, you need other things. There's no question about it, right? So now one thing that they don't necessarily light up about, but I think this is best for the business, is you make that gift card not be valid until the following Tuesday. Or the next month.
Right.
So you want to get that return visit. People will really light up if you just give it to them in their hand, but they're going to spend it right there, and you might as well just take them the discount.
And you know what? Maybe there are some retailers out there that don't know that. They're like, oh, this is a really great deal. And then they turn around and, you're never going to see them again because they're just going to spend it right there. So that is something, very important to maybe make known to your customers. It's valid beginning, right?
Yes. Exactly. Okay. Valid beginning December 1st or whatever it is that you choose. And honestly, you could even do the December 1st through December 31st if you wanted to like really push that Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants to shop before Christmas. So if you give them that added little sense of urgency that this is going to expire, it helps you in multiple ways. So
what you're saying is don't get greedy when you say, hey, this needs to start in May, when you know your business is going to be down and they can't use their gift card until your business is down, right? I'm sure people try that and it's probably off-putting.
Absolutely. And part of it too is, I see a lot of January, which seems to stretch too far. But the other part is you get someone in the habit of coming into your store. We're all creatures of habit. We like to do the same things. I go to the same McDonald's every day. We do that type of thing. So when you get somebody who they came on Black Friday, now they're coming a week or two later. Now it's like, hey, okay, this place is cool. I can come back another time. So it really helps instill that loyalty and that trained customer behavior. It sounds harsh, but we all, you want to train your customers to behave a particular way.
No, it's not harsh. They're training you. They're your customers are training you, whether you believe it or not, just like your cat is, right?
For sure.
Hey, so since we were talking about dates, how early is too early to start promoting any kind of Black Friday promotion?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very interesting. And this actually segues right on into my marketing. So this is perfect. So I am of the belief, if you read, I've read so much on this topic, Joel, and I get kind of passionate about it. I believe in our industry, you want to tease the deals leading up to Black Friday. I don't think you put your deals out at the beginning of November. You'll see Walmart, Best Buy, all the big guys, they'll start leaking their deals beginning of November. They're on all the sites. People start making their plans. In our industry, we're much more nimble than these big box people. So if you release your deals on November 1st to all your customers via an email blast, I promise you, all of your competitors are signed up to your email blasts. So they're going to get your email blast, and then they're going to outprice you by $10 potentially. So I kind of like to do a teaser. You start November 1st and you start mentioning the Black Friday sales, Black Friday doorbusters. Excuse me, whatever your verbiage may be. But you slowly, keep adding. If you've got an email, maybe 70% is what's going on this week. 30% is talking about Black Friday down at the bottom. Then as you get closer and closer, it moves up and it's 40%, 50% till you get to the Sunday before Black Friday is when I typically would like to release the
big reveal.
The big reveal.
So another thing that just popped into my head, it might be good to be real general if you haven't already, because obviously you're probably going to have your Black Friday stuff before you start teasing. However, if you don't, it would be good just to pay attention to those big boxes, right? So pay attention to like the Dick's or the academies so that you're not, running up against the big dogs and you're not getting the same thing and not able to offer that same type of discount. So maybe think, and that's a good way to use AI, explain to the robot, hey, I want to start teasing, and if you've been using AI, it already knows your store culture and all that stuff. I want to start teasing something, but I don't even know what we're going to offer, but I'm going to do it the first week of November, and help me come up with some sort of a campaign to start stirring interest. And then you should know, right? And then you can recover if you did mess up, because I would hate to own a store and I got a bunch of Glock 43Xs, right? Because I got a great deal on them, and then find out that Academy is going to offer them $10 less than what I was going to offer them. And that's like, I'm already taking a massive hit, with that. So if that does happen, use that first week to just BS your way through it, right? Just start stirring up interest and just figure it out. But again, how should people when should people, and this is the last question on inventory, when should people, I'm sorry, that's the first section, by the way.
It's okay. We can go anywhere. This is good.
When should people have those Black Friday deals in inventory? Like, when should they, even if it's in the back room and they're hiding it?
Yeah.
Because you just said that you guys had a nightmare where it was supposed to be there the Wednesday before Black Friday. I mean, that's cutting it close.
Way too close.
What's the safest, Wednesday's not safe.
No.
So maybe a week or two before, should they have all that stuff ready to go?
So I would say it all depends on the terms that you're getting,
Right,
so it all comes back to cash flow. You want to make sure that this inventory is sold before it's due. So I would say if you have net 30 terms, you want that stuff in there 25 days prior to, so you've got some build up to where you can collect your processing money, all that stuff comes in, and you can write them a check on Monday to pay for that inventory. So as quickly as you can, that fits within your terms is what I would say, Joel.
Okay. All right.
Marketing too. Another thing, I keep saying emails, and it's just because I'm old. Social media too is the perfect place for these surprise reveals and things like that. So as I talk, I generally say email because I like email, and that's where I've seen the most response. But depending on your social media, if you don't have a social media following and status, don't waste your time for Black Friday at this point. Now, if you've got a bunch of followers out there, obviously you know this better than I do. Use that vehicle, because that is where you really have the opportunity for something to get some virality and get out there outside of your normal scope. Another thing too, that's not exactly social media and it's not email, get on Reddit boards. You can find so many different Reddit threads where people are in your area talking guns. People are groups that, you get into those micro, regional different groups where they're just looking for deals. They're talking about deals. Get in there and post either as your business or just as you personally, and they don't know you're part of the business. Start sharing your stuff that's going to be out there. That's another way where you can start to pick up, a lot of eyeballs that you've never seen before. And that's where Black Friday can pay dividends beyond Black Friday. Is the idea is you want to see new people and you want to get their information so you can start telling them who you are and how you do business. So, the other thing too with kind of preparation, I mean, as far as marketing goes, additionally, there are, over the years, now it's probably too late to do it. I don't know if this makes sense or not. Again, I feel like an old man today, Joel. The newspaper. So my family on Friday, they get the local, Black Friday. That's probably the one day a year they buy a newspaper because of that giant ad section that is bigger than the rest of the newspaper.
Right.
Those are cheap. Those are far less expensive than you think. They really are, even for Black Friday. And there are still a contingent that I would argue aligns with our target customer.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
Is going to have that newspaper on Black Friday. On Thanksgiving, excuse me. I keep saying on Black Friday. On Thanksgiving, and they're going to be passing around the ads, or at least that's what happens at my house. So even though I would never recommend advertising in a newspaper now, other than on this day. This day, it may make sense. And it's not hard to do, especially now. They are killing for advertisers.
Oh, yeah.
So there's some great deals that can be had there that is
Right.
local to your market, to the target audience. And it, I think, has a very good potential of bringing in some new eyes. All right. Marketing. That's what I've got for marketing, Joel. You have any questions?
No, I mean, that's perfect. But just, again, when you're marketing, if you do send anything out, just as common sense, I would have a QR code in your ad that takes them back to a form that gets them into a drawing, maybe a Black Friday drawing or something, to where you can capture their information before they ever come in your shop, because they may not come in your shop. Right. Mm-hmm. And you want to capture those so that we can email them, as Greg likes to do. We can email them even if they don't come back in. You may be able to pull them in, with another deal. So if you put any kind of physical mailer out there, have a way where you can capture their information. It's so easy these days. All you got to do is open your camera and point it at a QR code, and it will take them wherever you want that code to take them, which is usually a form, so that you can get that information. Also, it increases, your SEO, because you may have a rush of people doing that, and it's going to spike your website. They're all going to go to your website, and it's going to be like, my gosh, man, look at all these people that are visiting this website, which is what you need around, the holidays, because they'll start, so another thing.
Get them used to coming in. You're in their search history now. You know what I mean? So when they start typing in anything close to yours, they're going to see it pop up as a suggestion. I mean,
That's it. And another thing that I would encourage you to do is, you were talking about Reddit there, and this is me like plugging AI again, but if you may know how to do it. You guys out there may be like really proficient at ChatGPT. You can build, they now have, and this is, I'm going to go over this next week. It just hit me. We're going to do a core AI tactics webinar next week. And they now have an agent mode in ChatGPT that actually goes out into the world and does things on your behalf. You could build some sort of a bot that would go visit Reddit and tell you what everybody's talking about in regards to a certain product, right? Yeah. So you could start building a graph of what's really important before you ever put those Black Friday orders in. I'm sorry, Greg.
No. Side note, we need the agents to start beating CAPTCHA. It gets the I'm not a robot test, and it won't go past it. I was running into that the other day, getting mad at it. Like, dude, come on, you can click a box.
Are you serious?
That's serious.
Did you ever see the one where it tricked it and said, "Hey, I'm disabled. I can't see." Right? The robot did, and it found a way to get through CAPTCHA.
Oh, it
So,
wouldn't let me. It just said I won't do this because it's asking if I'm a robot, and I am, you know. So
oh, so you
it
can't.
was like more of
You
a
don't know how to tell
moral.
your robot to lie, which is
I
good. We
need
don't need
to.
the robots lying, man.
Well, you know, white lies maybe, not big ones.
That's how they start.
That's
All right.
right. That's right.
So what
Uh,
are you talking about next? We're
so I'm going to talk about setting a goal.
okay.
So it gets kind of into the prep for the team, which obviously the team is the primary focus on Operation Day on Black Friday. But prior to that, you know, set a goal, and I recommend setting a goal for the team, not for individuals. On Black Friday, you almost switch your retail operations. You know, generally, I think everybody should be a salesperson. Everybody should be trying to sell things. Everybody should be trying to upsell. Everybody should be trying to pull this in. Black Friday, if advertised correctly and you've got the right drivers, it almost flips to where it's more of like a you know, you're really just operating like more of like the back kitchen of a McDonald's. You know, you want to. I don't know why I keep going to McDonald's today. I had hash brown today. It was delicious.
That's
Uh,
why.
yeah, yeah. But you want it to be very, very. Everybody has a job. Everybody's doing their job. And the reason is if people are tied to individual sales, you may have this one sales guy who's exceptional, right? But we all know to get somebody to buy a scope with their rifle, it's going to take a little bit of time. They may want to look through some. You need to tell them the advantages, the disadvantages. Why is this one $200 and this one is $800? So you're now zeroed in a one-on-one, you know, transaction. Meanwhile, you have lines of people just trying to say, hey,
Right.
take my money, you know? So those are the days where I think that guy may be motivated by saying, hey, I want to get my individual sales up, not thinking about the people who are literally pulling up to your parking lot, seeing all the crowds and being like, I'm not going here. I'm just going to go, you know, move on and stop at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Right.
So I believe in team goals. You know, everybody's got their own job and the entire team gets a reward based on whatever those goals are. Now, you as the operator of this business, you've got to decide what is that goal. And my recommendation on that is look at last year's sales. So you've got an idea of what's realistic. You know, if it was good, bad, or what's going on. It may be lower than last year, considering how the markets have gone, but it still may be a good goal. So figure out a number that you would be happy with, and then just have, whether it's, you know, $25 each, or whether it's, you know, a big party, a lot of ideas that you guys know your staffs better than I do.
Right.
But having a goal for the team and then a reward for hitting that goal, I think is very, very important. And don't have any individual goals. It never works the way we hope it will on that day.
Okay.
Then with the teteam beforehand, schedule everyone you have. I mean, this is one of those things where that's one of those days everybody needs to be there. It's the one day of the year I would say don't worry about labor rate. Who cares? Because the sales are going to outpace the amount of people that you can throw at it if we're doing this correctly. Right. So get everybody there. And not only is everybody there, but this is where I would say you get down to a much more refined schedule than you generally do. A lot of us are just going to schedule, okay, it's, you know, a Friday, we're going to have 4 people working, you know, everybody kind of helps everybody. You go to where the customers are, you do your thing. On Black Friday, I would have, if you have 4 generally, I'd have 10 on a shift if you can, or however many your business can get to cover the whole day. But with those 10, I would say this person is working register 1. This person's working register 2. This person's at the range counter. This person's on a mobile, point of sale. This person is floating around just helping people on the other side of the counter. A door person, I would recommend on Black Friday, you have someone at the door greeting people as they come in, kind of just directing traffic as they walk through the door. Hey, what are you here for today? Welcome in. They're going to know that day. They're probably going to have something in their hand, or they're going to be looking at their phone and they're going to say, I want this. And then you can point them to the direction. Right. And to that point, if you have deal busters, those 3 or door busters, those 3 to 5 deals that you think people are going to push for, have those set up somewhere where someone can process them. If it's a firearm, have it set, have a bunch of them behind somebody. And if you're here for that, you know, the Glock 19 right over there, you know, go get in that line. And then you just have it queued up, have ammo or have, you know, products around it as they're waiting in line.
Yes.
with your team, that's another thing. I've said this before and I believe it with all my heart. 0% chance it sells in the back room. Stuff everything you can out on that floor on Black Friday. I mean, if you have to stack things out on the floor, make it look as good as you can, but have it out. I have had people literally picking things off a pallet as we're trying to restock during the day. So if you can avoid that at all costs. Just get it all out the night before. I'm a big, how I've seen work in the past is I know it's Thanksgiving, so maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe it's really early Friday, but the night of Thanksgiving, I have spent so many days in a retail store setting the floor for the next day. As much as you can get ahead of it, it's going to pay such dividends. If you don't feel good with that, if you open it, say 10 a.m. on Friday, 9 a.m. on Friday, I'd be there at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., pushing everything out, making sure it's good. And we'll get into that in a minute, but also that same morning, as early as possible, run test transactions, test all of your products that are supposed to be on sale. Make sure that they are actually running through correctly and that the discounts are showing up. Do all of that. I'd say at least 90 minutes before you open, and even longer if possible, just to make sure you are 100% set to go. I've been there at 10 a.m. where none of our prices, doors open, none of our prices are ringing correctly in the register, and we have 40 people running at us, and it's not a place you want to be. So that is something I would absolutely recommend doing. And another thing, kind of prep work, is a cellular backup. It's funny, you asked me the question at the beginning, Joel, and now I'm remembering all kinds of Black Friday horror stories. I think I've blocked them out of my head. I remember one Black Friday, our internet went down, and we did not have an internet backup. And so it was bad. I mean, we lost about 30 minutes of sales on Black Friday. And I mean, it cost us tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So I would strongly encourage everybody, if you don't have a cellular backup, get one. They're very inexpensive depending on who your internet service provider is. A lot of times as a business, it's an add-on for like $25 a month, $50 a month. Get that done, because to me, it is worth the insurance policy. You can cancel it if you want in January, but I would recommend.
There you go, for that one day. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very important.
So you said you were going to talk about something, and it may have to do with what I'm about to ask. I just didn't want to get too far past it.
Yeah.
About when the store should open. Are you going to talk about that?
I didn't have it in there, but I'm glad you brought it up. So I think it all gets down. My belief on this is you play it to your market. You play it to your competition. You play it locally. You know how your customers are. I don't know that you want to be open at 7 or 8 a.m. to compete with these big guys that are doing their thing. I am more of a proponent of you open a little later. You get that secondary push just based on the size. The people that go to your big boxes that are all fighting for those dollars early, they're going for multiple categories generally. They're not going for, one category. So in my perfect world, I'd say 9 a.m. on Black Friday. And to that point, though, I would open at 8:55 a.m. because whatever time you choose, you're going to have a line of people that are going to be at your door ready for those doorbusters.
Right.
Open early, get them pushed through. Do not open late under any circumstance. And that's actually a big thing I believe in retail in general. Open 1 or 2 minutes early, always. Never wait until the time you.
That's actually, that's good psychologically. Makes people feel. Yeah, I can't stand people looking through a door at me.
Exactly.
It's weird, right? It's
very weird. How uncomfortable do you feel?
It is. Let me ask you this, though. So just a different way of thinking about it, because I know that, and forgive me if this offends you, but it is what it is. I know the ladies like really going out and taking advantage. I mean, I've got family members. I am nowhere near like this, but family members that will at midnight, right? They're hitting the shops, or 5 a.m. or whatever. They have husbands. So would that not be something that you could also use? Like, hey,
for sure.
we're going to do this different this year. We're opening at 5. So once you drop your wife or your husband, who knows, they may want to come to the gun shop. Once you drop them off, come over here and take advantage of ours. Right. And, also with that, would it be something like Black Friday deals? Like we're doing this from 5 to 8. We're doing this from 8 to 11. And then we're doing this the rest of the day, like those specials.
Definitely. I mean, I think staggering specials. If you open that early, Joel, I think what you just said is exactly correct. You've got to have the deals during those times only to kind of drive people in
Right.
to the time. Now, the only reason the scenario you described is exactly correct. And even talking about where advertising in newspapers and seeing it worked, what I found is the husbands generally give the wives the ad and tell them exactly what they want. And then they come rolling in with it in hand with something circled ×2
at 10:30
×5.
There you go.
Yeah, 10 o'clock after they've done all their crazy shopping.
Okay.
And they're like, I need these. And then you're really just order taking. It reminds me of like an old general store back in the day. You know,
Right.
It's like, here's my list of stuff. So,
That's awesome.
But I certainly think if you've got the staff to do it, I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just my gut tells me, based on my years working, in the shops, I don't know that you're going to get any more added business opening that early.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think it will all still come either way, but that's a theory. I mean, I'd love if somebody does open really early. I would absolutely love to hear how it goes, because it may go great. I don't know, truthfully.
Okay.
Did you have something else, Joel? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do have something else. I don't know if it's about what you're going to talk about though.
Fire away. Yeah.
So in regards to, and this is like, has nothing to do with that one day. It has to do with the entire season. Do you find it, because I'm just speaking from my experience, whenever I go to a place and they have either, if it's the 4th of July or Christmas or Thanksgiving or Halloween or whatever, and they have it properly decorated so that it takes you back to that, like for Christmas, you got Christmas trees, you've got Christmas music playing. It just takes you back to a time in your mind where you're like, man, I really felt good back in those days. Does that happen in our industry as well? Like, is a dude going to go into a shop if there's Christmas trees up and hunting stuff all over the place, and you just really get them in that, where they feel in their happy place, right? They just walk into their happy place. Does that help increase sales? Not saying I want to do that, but if it works, I would consider it, obviously. Is that?
Yeah, Joel, I think it gets back to where I was talking about, where we want to train the customer, and you hear that Christmas music, you see those red and green, you see those trees. Guess what? You are trained to know, hey, this is time where I'm buying for Christmas. So if I'm coming in and I'm buying for me, you know what? I'm going to buy for my dad too, because I'm thinking, I know I need to get him a gift. He's going to love something here.
Right.
So 100%. I believe in it. Now, the flip side is, because I've actually done this and I am a proponent of it, but the flip side is you will get some people in our industry who are going to say, why are you already advertising for Christmas? It gets earlier and earlier. It's not December 1st.
They're going to do that. People are going to complain no matter what.
Absolutely. Who cares? But just prepare yourself for that.
We're giving away free guns. It's not the gun I want, though.
Exactly. Yeah. Why are you giving away these crappy free guns? Exactly. But no, I think that's a great call out. And that actually, I don't know why that triggered this thought, Joel, but another thing that I just thought of is planning for lunches for your staff. You don't want people leaving your store on Black Friday. So what I would recommend is have lunch. As the owner, manager, operator, whatever it is, provide lunch for the staff, both morning shift and night shift. Get, whether it's pizzas, doesn't have to be complicated, but have food back in the break room, food and drink, so people can just run back, stuff down a piece of pizza, take a drink, and then get back out on the sales floor. That's a big efficiency saver.
Yeah.
Yes. And
it's good for morale.
It is.
Chow is always good for morale. You feed anybody, they're going to be happy.
Absolutely. It's hard to be upset on the stomach.
Yeah, going back to what you said, because Candace had a comment, and I think you addressed it, and you may be right, Candace, but what she said Greg, just have just have to watch the overtime when you change your hours, and if you have enough staffing. What Greg, I think what his point was, you're gonna make up for it. If people are staying, right, then obviously you need them because your sales should outpace your labor at least for that one day. So Greg's Greg's advice was for that one day, don't even worry about hours. Like just
And you can always send people home. That's the other part. You can always send people home. That's easy. On the day after Thanksgiving, you're going to have a line of people raising their hands. If you're like, hey guys, we need to thin this out. We're not getting as much business as we thought. Who wants to go home? Never have that problem on Black Friday. So yeah, Joel, you summarized what I think very well. I believe this is the one day a year, and I am a fiscal hawk. I do not like wasting dollars ever. Don't get me wrong. But this day is going to be, 7-8 times what a normal Saturday should be for your store. So yes, and throw all of the resources you can on that one particular day. And to her point about overtime, that's very valid. And that's where I'd say, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, do we need all those people, that we typically have? Is there an opportunity for those people who are going to be putting in long days on Friday to get out, or on Sunday if your schedule's Sunday through Saturday? So you can certainly help on that side.
Yeah, and she literally just that was kind of her point. She said, I meant opening really early or at midnight. And I think Greg just answered that. It's perfect. If you've got people that are low on hours, that's when you would schedule them. You know what I'm saying? And if you have to send anyone home, I can guarantee you, no matter how much we love money, we would rather be home. Yeah. So you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings, right? By saying, hey, like, we don't need you for the rest of the day. I'd be like, heck yeah, man. I'm going to go take advantage of some Black Friday deals across town or whatnot. So
yeah, now they're even doing football on Black Friday, Joel. So the NFL is trying to take away from retail.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
I'm actually excited because I'm not into retail on Black Friday. So that's perfect.
I'm excited too. I'm not going to lie. It's always good to have a football game.
Awesome.
So yeah, operationally, I think the big thing is have a written plan. It's going to align with a lot of the things I've said before. Every person on your schedule should have a role, what they are doing. Again, have a door person, have range people, have designated register people, have designated floaters, all depending on your business, whatever it may be. One person may have multiple jobs, but whatever it is, make sure everybody knows exactly what they're doing on that day. And again, an escalation process. That's another one to have. Your manager may be busy with busier things, other things going on. I would absolutely have one or two other people designated in the store that can take care of customer issues. It's like the old Hilton. It was Hilton or Hyatt. I don't remember which one, but they would empower their employees back when they started to say up to X number of dollars, you can do anything to make that customer happy. We don't go that far, but we'd say, hey, any discounts up to $25 or whatever that line is for you, give some people some opportunities to do that. And it's the one time where I'd say, if you need to adjust some permissions where somebody needs to do a return, I would take the loss prevention risk on this day because it's just so busy. I shouldn't say no one, someone will, but very few people are going to try nefarious things on that day because they're going to be too busy to get anything by anyone.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so silly thing here, but I'm thinking of all the horror stories. Make sure you have enough bags and you have receipt paper. That is something you need to do now. So bags, running out of bags on Black Friday has happened to me, and that's horrific. That is terrible. After every transaction where somebody's waited 20 minutes, they then want their stuff in a bag, and you tell them they got to carry it out like this. And trying to go anywhere to get plastic bags on Black Friday was brutal. I actually ended up calling one of my buddies who was a manager at Kroger and gave me a Kroger bag. So we're handing out Kroger bags.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but bags and receipt paper. Make sure you've got the correct receipt paper. You don't want to run out of receipts on that day, or any other kind of restock items. Just make sure you've got all that taken care of.
Awesome.
So everything I've talked about, kind of that wraps up sort of phase 2, and now just jumping into phase 3, and I'll be quick. I see what time it is. Wow. Phase 3 is post sale. So post sale, again, on Black Friday, I would recommend to jump back a little bit too. Have some impulse items, anything small next to the registers that people can grab really easily, whether that be, I guess not Constitutions, but, things like that size. It's perfect, actually.
Right.
Things that size, whether it's cleaning kits, whether it's, cleaning cloths, whether it's boxes of ammo, whatever it is, having those right by your registers, like up on the counters, even to where people with a sign that just here's the deal. That is a better upsell technique on Black Friday rather than the burgers and fries approach of, would you like this with that? It doesn't mean they can't ask it, but only ask the things that are within reach of the person who's actually checking out.
Right.
The worst is when you recommend something like, hey, in that case, oh man, you should have gotten a scope with this. And then it's like, well, yeah, maybe I will. How do I do that? Now you've got them in your computer. You're in the sale. You've got people behind them. They want to look at rifle scopes. So I guess you can suspend the sale and send them off, but then they're going to want to come back up to the front of the line. You're going to have all these other people. Keep it simple.
Or they may find a better deal somewhere else.
And they might. That's exactly right.
So if they're at the register, check them out first. They can buy the scope, in a minute.
Yeah, let's get you checked out right here, and then I'll send you over to fucking Joel.
Right.
He'll take care of you. Absolutely. Right. So, and with all these people, again, collect email addresses, collect phone numbers, collect anything that you can collect. It's very tempting, and it kind of sounds counter to what I've said about pushing people through and speed. But yes, ask for that information. It is so valuable. Those are the people that have already made the effort to get in your store. We want to talk to them. It is such a big deal. So ask everybody for their email, for their phone number, all that. And another thing, depending on how your registers are set up, and I should have known this already, but they typically in most point of sale systems, and I don't know this about Core Store, I'm embarrassed to say, but if it logs out after each transaction, typically that's a setting that can be changed to where you can stay logged in. Make sure you're stay logged in on Black Friday. And completely different than my loss prevention stuff where it's like you want it to be logged out every time. You want fresh logins. On this day, you're going to have some mistakes on cache. Absolutely. I mean, it's going to happen as people are counting and people are going. Right. But that's where I say you have your cameras in place. You've got everybody around. I don't think the risk is large to where you're going to have to zero in on one person. Really, it should be one person working anyway. And in a perfect world, they're the only person ringing. And then when they switch off to give to the night crew, you count that drawer down, you put in a new one, and you go. But that may or may not be realistic for everyone. Either way, my recommendation is always get those dollars in, make it as fast as possible, set up the system so it stays logged in once you're logged in once, and you can just keep on pumping out those transactions. Okay. I would also recommend that Saturday after Black Friday is very underlooked in retail. It's a huge, huge day. So fire back Saturday morning with a with an email that's based on how your Black Friday went. We're going to have hits. We're going to have misses. You may have some products that did not move on Black Friday the way you expected. I'd be prepared late Friday night. It's a long weekend, but late Friday night, build an email out with the items that didn't sell as well and make a price adjustment if you need to, or just hit it back again, because you will get a ton of people coming in then as well. So take advantage of that weekend and really analyze at the end of the day, Friday, what went well, what didn't go well. And what didn't go well, I'm telling you, the Saturday after Black Friday is your best opportunity to get that out. Now, you still have plenty of time before Christmas. You can move that stuff. But as we talked about, that inventory may be due in 5 days after Black Friday. So you want to push it as quickly as you can just to free up your cash.
And no matter how many emails you send out, I'm learning this again. I'm learning so much in my old age, thankfully. But there's this thing called knowledge projection, and it's this thing where we think everyone knows what we know, right? You can send out 100 emails. There's still going to be a few people out there that have no idea that you had any specials going on. So it doesn't hurt at all to just pound that email for that Saturday or start a whole new week, right? And just educate people on the things that you have left. You don't even have to tell them you have anything left or you have this stuff left over. You can make it exciting. Say, hey, we got some new stuff in. So,
100%.
just wrap it up in a positive light and make people want that stuff. So don't assume that people know everything that you've done, even though you may have worked your butt off to get the word out on your Black Friday sale. Not everybody's going to know that you did anything. So,
yeah. And, to that point, I never talked about in-store signage. In-store signage everywhere. Print out as many 8.5 by 11s as you can. Typically I like to have a very clean retail look, but this is the day where start slapping them up on glass with tape on the back and just get them anywhere and everywhere you can. Use the signage in your store to direct traffic too. That's part of this. It's like, you want the people who are here for the 9mm over on that side of the store. You want people who are here for, the Glock on sale, this side of the store. And think about that during the prep phase is how is traffic going to flow? How am I going to queue people up outdoors? Where are they going to go? Are they going to be crossing over each other? Walk through and really think about that.
right. And don't forget, I'm telling you, I'm just saying, for everything that you print out, have a QR code leading them to some sort of a form to capture that information.
Absolutely. That's
No matter what, just have it there. Even if it's 4 or 5 people that scan it and you've printed out 100 forms or 100, flyers, those 4 or 5 people, they're savvy with their phone and they'll be looking at your emails, right? Because they probably live on their phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Joel, that kind of wraps up what I've got here. I mean,
We're at an hour and 6 minutes. I think this is our longest one ever.
I know. And it's funny. It's because it's so important. I believe in this and I could keep going. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like, you just have to remember, it's not just Black Friday. It is the momentum driver for the rest of the season for your entire business. So
Right.
You want to make sure you just execute with a purpose and follow it because it really will make the difference in your business, and take advantage of every opportunity you get in front of you when it comes to those customers and their emails, phone numbers. That is gold for your business. It will pay dividends.
So since I know this is important, Oki and I did the Black Friday boot camp last year, and I'm just going to insist that he do that again, because that's where we'll talk about how you can use our tools to actually make Black Friday a success for you while using these ideas that Greg has given us. It's been really enlightening, and I think it's going to be a really good season. With all the fear, sadly, we've talked about this in the past, but it is what it is. Give the people what they want. If they're willing to trade money for whatever it is you have, go on and sell it. And I think this has been a good session. Greg, do you have anything else? Do you have any more morsels that you can give us?
No,
or is this it?
I mean, I think to sum it all up, I just think, go into it with excitement. It's such a cool time. I mean, it's so much fun. There's nothing better than we work our butts off all year long to try to put ourselves in a position to succeed. And this is like, it's like the first day of hunting season. We're out there, we're excited. Everybody's coming in. Just take advantage of it. Spend the time now that is going to benefit you greatly when you get on Black Friday and the days after. I mean, start thinking about it today.
This is your Super Bowl.
Yes, it's your Super Bowl.
This is the retail Super Bowl. So just prepare for it.
For sure.
Well, with that, everyone, I think we're going to wrap it up. Next week, we're going to be talking about some AI stuff. I was going to just talk about the music. If you guys have some ideas and you want to send them to me, you know where I am. Tell me what kind of music you would like to play in your shop. This is another thing I'm telling you right now. With all these tools, I would have a complete Christmas list that takes every man, woman, and child that walks into your shop to a magical place and wants them to either want to buy something, or to bug their parents to buy them something. That's what I would do. And you can do that now with all these tools. We're also going to talk about I'm going to look into it. I don't know how far I'm going to get, but I'm going to show you the new agent mode in ChatGPT so that you can go out and either do research on these big boxes before Black Friday and see what they're talking about or what they have in stock or whatever. There's all kinds of things that you can do to prepare for Black Friday. So it's probably going to be more focused on maybe getting ready for Black Friday, whether it be content creation or research. We're going to help you dive into that next week in our core AI tactics. And then I'm gonna hopefully I can have somebody on with me. I don't know if I'm going to. The last time I did this, I kept looking at the camera and I wasn't on the camera.
Oh no.
I was looking at the camera, or I would be looking at my screen, and my screen is not, they're not seeing my screen, and I'm showing them how to do something on the screen. And I'm like, I need somebody here to keep me straight. So maybe I can talk Okie or Colt into hanging out with me for an hour next week. That's going to be next Wednesday, I believe. And with that, I think we're going to close out. Dean, I did that new song for you. It's more of a Southern rock kind of song. But I know they were still screaming. We'll dial that in and find something that you like eventually. I know, because the robots are really smart. I'm not telling them that you're not happy with it, though, because I do not want you to move any higher up on their list than you may already be. And so with that, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you in the next one. Greg, seriously, anything else?
No, this is great. Just get out there and sell everybody. It's exciting. This is what Joel said it best. This is our Super Bowl.
This is our Super Bowl. So let's do it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Every second counts. Sales storms coming, pressure mounts. Stocks too low, staff too green. You're stuck in the chaos, caught in between. Doorbusters hit, traffic explodes. One mistake and the system overload. Greg Turner steps in, voice so clear. Get your plan right now or the cost is near. You can't guess your way through the fight. You need a strategy built to get it right. Black Friday's coming. Are you ready to leave? No more loss. We prep like warriors, no matter the cost. Black Friday's coming. Don't stand still. Retail mastery trains you to kill the